What's up, everybody? Welcome to Crypt-Economy, and let's have a look at the markets. Now, today's episode is going to be a bit more crypto heavy. There's not a lot going on in the stock markets, but specifically, if I was to touch on energy stocks, yeah, they got beat up pretty bad on the news of oil price actually going down. So that kind of dragged the energy stocks down quite a bit. But on the overall front, if we just look at what S&P actually did, pretty much right there, not a lot of difference here. On a daily chart, I could pretty much show you where we are. So not a very heavy movement, although we are testing our previous support for S&P 500. Now, coming to what do we have in store? So let's take the news items one by one. And for that, guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure to do so and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in economy, in stocks, personal finance, and crypto. So let's talk about Mastercard's LATAM, which is Latin America report that came out saying 51% of the consumers in the region have already made a transaction with crypto assets, and more than a third say that they have made a payment for an everyday purchase with stablecoin. Now, it's a new payments index 2022, which was a survey conducted between March and April of this year. So 2 months among more than 35,000 people around the world. Now, of course, this is a good thing, but it would be not a good thing to assume that we are talking about 51% of all the consumers. If you look at the sample size, they say more than 35,000 people. So let's say even if it was 40,000 people, right? So it's definitely not all inclusive. So being a crypto person, I should be taking the other side, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to say this is a pretty small set of people, a pretty small sample size to actually come out and say 51% of consumers in LATAM. No. 51% of consumers out of the 40,000 people that they checked in LATAM have used. So it's definitely not a bad thing, to be honest. It's definitely a good one, but look at the 35,000 sample size, right? That's about what, 17,500 people who've used, right? So it's good, but it's not that good, to be honest. So let's move on to what's happening in Canada, specifically in Ontario Securities Commission, OSC. Now they've been pretty strict since last year, and we are now looking at KuCoin and Bybit facing the wrath of OSC. Now, a top Canadian financial regulator has slapped 2 crypto exchanges, Bybit, which is one of the very super high leverage exchange that asks everyone, all the newbies, to trade with 10,000x leverage. They got slapped, and KuCoin got slapped. Now, in terms of what's playing, let's see what Jeff Kehoe, the director of enforcement at OSC, said. They said, or he said, foreign crypto asset trading platforms that want to operate in Ontario must play by the rules or face enforcement action. And this is more or less what we might see in also India, for example, regarding taxation and all of those things. We might see a similar stance from the Indian governments as well. Now, on Bybit, right? Bybit actually went on and talked to the OSC guys, but they were not able to close whatever they were supposed to close. But they said, yeah, we'll comply and we'll talk to you guys whatever is needed. So they were definitely not. So they were cooperative. So they got kind of a 2.5 million Canadian, which is about 1.9 million USD fine to OSC, and they've agreed to work with the agency to properly register. Right. In the meantime, Bybit won't accept new accounts for Ontario-based customers. Now, on the other hand, if we look at KuCoin is accused of being uncooperative with OSC's investigation, and as a result, Seychelles, which is the place where this exchange is based, has been permanently banned from participating in Ontario's capital market. So we are not going to see KuCoin in Ontario pretty soon. OSC also hit the exchange with a 2 million, which is about 1.5 million US dollar fine, as well as about 77,000 US dollar or 100,000 Canadian dollars in investigation related costs. So that's a pretty steep fine, and we are probably going to see a lot of such regulation come out for exchanges to register so that they don't sell those unregistered securities, as they say. Now, moving on to a very interesting news which has to do with Polygon Matic. A lot of you guys like Polygon Matic, right? And Matic had promised that they want to go carbon negative, right? So Sandeep Nailwal, he had come out and saying that they wanted to go carbon negative through purchasing carbon credits as well as funding projects that utilize technology to combat climate change. Now, on the first step, what they've done now, and of course it also shows in Matic's price, if you look at what Matic is doing today. So in the last 24 hours, Matic is up 23.3%, whereas other altcoins are up like 3 to maybe 10%. Bitcoin, Ethereum not doing so well as well. And what is this? This has to do with also a lot of whales actually stocking up on Polygon, right? So let's look at what's happening here. Matic's recent price surge comes on the back of several weeks of whale accumulation. So according to an on-chain data provider, Sentiment, holders between 10,000 and 10 million Matic have collectively added 8.7% more to their holdings over the past 6 weeks. And past 6 weeks, we've seen a lot in the markets, to be honest. These, I guess, past 6 to 8 weeks have been the most landmark weeks the crypto market has to ever had to face in general. The price bump also comes in the wake of the news that Polygon has partnered with on-chain carbon market Kilma DAO in a bid to achieve carbon neutrality. Yes, so the first step is going to be reaching carbon neutrality and then going towards being a carbon negative chain or a carbon negative project. Now, Polygon revealed yesterday that it has retired $400,000 in carbon credits. So a lot of kudos coming from, I guess, ESG guys. That's one of the big things against Bitcoin. So this kind of solves that. Claiming that 104,794 tons of greenhouse gases they represent amounts to the entirety of network CO2 debt since inception. That's a big news. That's definitely a big news. Then Sandeep Nailwal, who's the founder of Polygon, a co-founder, he came out and said reaching carbon neutrality is an important first step, but there is more work ahead. Now, of course, they want to go carbon negative, so there's a lot of work ahead. Moving on to what eBay is doing. eBay actually acquired Known Origin, which was founded in April 2018 in Manchester to support visual art NFTs. Now, according to OpenSea, their collection has had 80,600 items and has moved 8,300 Ethereum, which is valued at $8.8 million today. But if we look at Ethereum all-time high, yeah, that's upwards of $40 million rather, my bad. And items in the collection are owned by 13,400 individuals. Now, how this whole thing is going to happen. So they've actually acquired Known Origin as well as the team. So reports from TechCrunch suggest that Known Origin's co-founders, Andy Gray, David Moore, and James Morgan, they will all join eBay. And the terms of the deal include the company's IP, which is, of course, the NFT and all of that, the software stuff, as well as the entire team as it is. So all of these guys are actually now going to be eBay employees. Pretty cool move, right? In an instant, you're an eBay employee. On Shopify's front, another positive stuff, positive news or positive item, right? Shopify is updating its platform to allow customers and merchants to connect through their crypto wallets, and this is huge. Now, the company is also offering the possibility of minting and selling NFTs straight from the blockchain to my online store. This is magic witchcraft. A dozen NFT minting apps are suggested to smoothly complete the operation. Now, they are looking at Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and Flow as the supported blockchains. Now, if we look at what kind of exposure this brings in, so more than 1.7 million businesses were using Shopify in 2021. It is one of the premier platforms if you want to open your own e-commerce store. In fact, the Jenner, Kylie, and all of those guys, they also use Shopify for their stores. Pretty cool. I'm, by the way, also a Shopify stockholder, so pretty awesome. Last for the day, I won't take a lot of your time. Make sure to smash that like button. And the last one is a negative one. Voyager had a lot of Three Arrows capital exposure, more than $660 million worth of exposure to Three Arrows capital, and they are not paying them back. Voyager's exposure to the crypto hedge fund consists of 15,250 Bitcoin, $350 million worth of USDC for a total of $667 million. Now, Voyager has requested 3AC to repay $25 million by June 24. That's in one day. And the rest of their outstanding balance by June 27. Oh, that is not going to happen probably. Failure to complete repayment by those deadlines will be interpreted as an event of default. Now, on this news, Voyager stock actually went down by 63% in the day. 63%, guys, was operating rather at 1.3 and currently trading at not even 60 cents. Now, Alameda, who's already had to bail out BlockFi, or rather, I won't even say BlockFi, but give them some liquidity so they don't get wiped out. Give money to Voyager already, because they've loaned them already a $200 million in cash plus USDC, as well as 15,000 BTC to ensure the liquidity. Additionally, Voyager also has 172 million in liquid assets, right? So it should not be a problem for Voyager customers the way it has been for Celsius. But this is not the first time that Sam Bankman-Fried is bailing out crypto companies, right? Or crypto projects. Alameda, by the way, also holds about 11.5% of the company, which is 22.6 million Voyager common shares. So we might see a few bailouts. We might actually see a few bailouts. And Sam Bankman-Fried a couple of days ago had come out and said, of course, I am not, or Alameda or FTX is not behind what is happening to Celsius, as a lot of people were sharing in their conspiracy theories. He said, if we bring down Celsius network, it does nothing but hurt the ecosystem, hurt us, and hurt everyone in this whole crypto market and the ecosystem. So that's definitely not something that we want to do. So yeah, all of those things are lies. So that's what Sam Bankman-Fried had come out and said a couple of days ago. So this is what I have for you guys today. A lot of stuff happening in the crypto markets, a lot of stuff happening in the stock markets, especially with the oil price. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are trading in their expected ranges actually, which is, so in Bitcoin's case, it is supposed to be about 17,000 to kind of close to 20,000. We are looking at a bounce from that 20,000 level, which we saw earlier as well. Probably a rejection from again 22,000 level and coming back to this level again. So let's see. Whenever that happens, I'll make an update video for you guys. So for that, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is where I say goodbye. I'll see you guys next time. And guys, thanks a lot for being a part of Crypt-Economy.